Watch our video and discover the perfect blend of modern and vintage style in small apartments. Here you will find nearly 70 unique spaces that beautifully mix contemporary design with charming vintage finds. Learn top tips for furniture placement and color palettes to maximize your small space, making it feel open and inviting. So, are you ready to dive into the extraordinary realm of small apartments that exude timeless style? If you got a love for modern design mixed with vintage treasures, you're in for a treat. As I said, in this video, we showcase nearly 70 unique small spaces that beautifully blend contemporary aesthetics with nostalgic elements. Hi friends, Lulu Stamate here. Just imagine walking into a cozy apartment that boasts sleek modern lines punctuated by charming vintage pieces like old paintings, ornate mirrors, or even a classic gramophone. These apartments are proof that with a little creativity and smart planning, you can create a stunning interior that's both elegant and welcoming. Want to know the secret? It's all about carefully selecting vintage finds like vinyl records and retro armchairs that mesh seamlessly with modern furniture. Whether you are in a tiny studio or a chic one bedroom, optimizing your space is key. In our video, we'll guide you through some top tips on furniture placement and color palettes that really make your small apartment shine. Have you ever found yourself asking how to make a small room feel larger? Well, we're here to help. Join us to explore how the right decor elements can turn any cramped space into an open and inviting sanctuary. So, grab your popcorn, hit play, and let's get inspired to transform our living spaces. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. What vintage piece do you dream of incorporating into your space? Let's chat. Okay, first off, can we just take a moment to appreciate how cozy this little gem is? This is the first image from our video, and wow, it's proof that small spaces can pack a serious style punch. That plate sofa, total vintage charm, but the clean lines and bold blue frame scream modern chic. And that yellow cushion, it's like a little sunbeam saying, hey, relax here. The mix of old and new, like the classic floral painting above the couch, paired with that sleek white chair, is what makes this room feel so personal and inviting. It's not trying too hard, and that's what makes it work. Affordable pieces, layered textures, and thoughtful touches create a space that feels lived in, loved, and totally elegant. Wouldn't you just love to curl up here with a book and some tea? Let's talk about this beauty, our second image from the video. And honestly, it's giving cozy cottage meets city chic in the best way possible. The beige sofa, soft, inviting, and totally timeless. The orange and blue cushions at just the right pop of color, like little personality burns saying, hey, we live here. Now, the vintage rug and the countryside painting bring warm nostalgia, while the sleek white chair and minimalist lamp keeps things fresh and modern. It's that perfect blend, old soul meets new vibe. And guess what? None of it feels overdone or expensive. It's proof you don't need a mansion or a massive budget to live beautifully. Wouldn't you love to sip coffee here while the morning light pours in? I mean, come on, it's just so effortlessly elegant. This room just gets you. It's calm, collected, and quietly confident. The creamy armchairs are like little hugs with legs so plush. You'd never guess they're part of a minimalist setup. And that coffee table, sleek but warm, with just enough personality in those gold rings and tiny plant. The vintage style sideboard and moody black and white photos add depth. Like the room's got stories to tell. It's modern, sure, but it doesn't feel cold. That's the magic of mixing clean design with nostalgic touches. It creates a space that feels both fresh and familiar. Honestly, it's proof that elegance doesn't need excess. Just a few intentional choices, and boom, you've got a room that feels like home. So, what would you add to make it yours? Okay, what about this room? It's like stepping into a warm hug with a side of cool. The mustard-topped sofa, hello retro glam, paired so effortlessly with the burnt orange chairs. It's like they've been besties since the 60s. And yet it doesn't feel dated. It feels intentional. The mix of vintage finds, a charming old radio, that classic clock, and modern touches like the abstract art and geometric rug. That's where the magic happens. It's proof that you don't need a huge space or a designer budget to live stylishly. Just a little soul, a little savvy, and a whole lot of personality. Wouldn't you love to kick back here with the vinyl spinning and a cup of something cozy? I mean, it's got charm for days. Let's just pause and admire this little slice of serenity. That green tuft sofa is giving major sit down and stay a while energy. Classic, comfy, and totally chic. And the marble coffee table, it's like the cool kid in the room, balancing out all the cozy textures with the sleek edge. The mix of vintage charm, hello landscape painting, and tuft ottoman with modern touches like the leather chair and clean lines make the space feel curated, not cluttered. It's small, sure, but it doesn't feel cramped. It feels intentional, like every piece has a story. Isn't it wild how a few smart choices can turn a compact room into a total mood? I'd happily spend a lazy Sunday right here, wouldn't you? Oh wow, this room feels like a warm memory wrapped in sunlight. The floral pattern sofa is got grandma's charm, but with a fresh twist, and that rust-colored pillow at just the right pop of cozy. You can practically hear the soft hum of a record playing in the background. The glass coffee table keeps things light and airy, while the vintage side table and black and white city prints add depth and character. It's a master class in mixing eras. Modern lines meet nostalgic vibes, and somehow it all just works. And the best part is totally doable on a budget. Don't you love when a space feels lived in but still stylish? I'd curry up here with a book and never leave. Maybe even sneak in a nap. Would you? Okay, this room is like stepping into a quiet kind of luxury, nothing flashy, just pure elegance. That deep blue velvet sofa with gold legs, total showstopper, plush, refined, and somehow still super inviting. You'd sit down and instantly feel a little fancier, but not too fancy to kick off your shoes. The carved sideboard adds soul, grounding the space with vintage charm, while the sleek coffee table and bench keep things fresh and modern. It's that sweet spot where old meets new, and they actually get along. And let's be real, this setup proves you don't need a ton of space or cash to live stylishly. Just a few bold choices and thoughtful touches. So, what would you add? A cozy throw, a candle, maybe a cat curly up on that ottoman? room's got personality, and it's not afraid to show it. Those green tuft sofas, bold, confident, totally charming. They're like the cool cousins of mid-century style, dressed up with playful pillows that say, yeah, we are stylish, but we are fun too. The mix of modern art and vintage-inspired furniture create a vibe that's both relaxed and refined. That mirror casually leaning against the wall. It's not lazy, it's effortlessly cool. And the blue rug and vest tie everything together like a well thought out outfit. What I love most, it doesn't feel staged. It feels lived in, loved, and ready for real life. Affordable pieces, clever styling, and a splash of color. That's all it takes. So tell me, would you curly up here with a book or host a wine night with friends? Oh wow, this room feels like a warm hug at the end of a long day. That deep green sofa, it's rich, grounding, and practically begging you to curly up with a blanket and a good book. And speaking of blankets, how cozy is that soft beige throw casually draped over the arm? It's like the room saying, relax, you're home. The golden accent, bright florals, and botanical prints add a timeless elegance without feeling fuzzy. It's modern, but with a vintage soul, and that's what makes it so special. You don't need a mansion to feel luxurious, just thoughtful pieces that speak to you. Wouldn't you love to sip something warm here while the light filters in through those dreamy curtains? Already picturing it, and I don't wanna leave. This room's got that soft-spoken charm that just wraps around you like a warm hug. That peachy sofa, total heartthrob. It's plush, playful, and somehow makes you feel like you've stepped into a Wes Anderson dream without the budget drama. What's genius here is the mix. Sleek modern lines meet vintage sweetness, the gold frame art, and that old school clock add a whisper of nostalgia, while the clean furniture keeps it fresh. And don't even get me started on the light, those sheer curtains. Let it pour in like honey. It's proof that you don't need a mansion or designer price tag to live beautifully. Just a little color, a few vintage treasures, and a whole lot of heart. So, would you curry up here with a book and a cup of tea? I totally would. Okay, this room is like a warm latte on a rainy morning, soft, comforting, and quietly stylish. That creamy white sofa practically begs you to sink in, and the throw blanket, it's got Lazy Sunday written all over it. What's really lovely is how the vintage pieces, like that old school radio, and yes, even the rotary phone. I know. It's all without making it feel like grandma's attic. The modern lines keep it clean, while the textures and warm wood tones make it feel lived in and loved. This proof that elegance doesn't need excess, just a few thoughtful touches, some natural light, and a cozy vibe that says, hey, you're home. So, would you curry up here with a book and a mug of something warm? I totally would. As we reach the end of our fascinating journey through the old of small apartment where modern meets vintage magic, let's take a moment to breathe it all in. Seriously, how incredible is that a few well-placed vintage treasures can transform limited spaces into cozy, stylish heavens. From that charming rotary phone to those stunning vinyl records, it's like stepping into a beautifully curated time capsule. Remember, your home is not just a physical space. It's where your life unfolds. It's filled with stories, cherished memories, and, of course, your unique taste. Don't be afraid to mix things up. Maybe hang that quirky painting next to a sleek modern lamp, or let a retro ottoman steal the show in your living room. It's all about creating a narrative that reflects you. Time to get creative. So, here's the big question. How will you infuse your personality into your compact sanctuary? I bet you've got a few ideas brewing. Feel free to soak in those color palettes and furniture arrangement that catch your eye throughout this video. If you've enjoyed the mix of modern and vintage, go ahead and share your thoughts or even share a snapshot of your favorite corner in your home. Thanks for joining us on this stylish journey through small apartments with timeless allure. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more inspiration that will add comfort and elegance. Until next time, happy decorating. Bye now.